The question of God's existence demands examination, because it holds the key to the meaning and purpose of our own existence. But can God's existence be logically proven, without appealing to religious experience or a leap of faith? In this video I will show that there is, in fact, abundant rational evidence for the existence of God. The existence of God is evident from considering the following inescapable conclusions. There needs to be a creator to explain the creation. The cosmos appears to have been designed. Information is a necessary basis for all that exists in the universe. A moral God is required to explain morality in man. Christ's claim to be the Son of God stands up to critical examination. One of the strongest arguments for the existence of God is the need for there to be a creator to explain the creation. There is no method that we know of by which the physical universe could have created itself out of nothing. Logically, therefore, it must have been created by a powerful agent that is outside of and greater than the creation itself. Also, the scientific evidence suggests that the universe had a definite beginning, is subject to decay, and will eventually die. While a supernatural being could exist forever, without having a beginning or an end, natural things cannot. Hence, the evidence of the world we live in is that the physical universe is ultimately not self-sustaining, and therefore must have been created by an outside agent. The universe we live in shows all the marks of having been brought into existence through intelligent and purposeful design. Everywhere in the cosmos we see a high degree of order, structure, and complexity, but also great beauty, artistry, and harmony. Nothing in our experience of life suggests that organization can arise spontaneously by random chance processes. Instead, random processes invariably result in disorder and loss of structure. Organization requires intelligence, and supreme organization, such as we see inherent in the cosmos, points to a supreme intelligence. In the words of Voltaire, I shall always be convinced that a watch proves a watchmaker, and that a universe proves a God. Organization and structure are not inherently stable. Elaborate laws are required to maintain the structure of things and prevent them from deteriorating into chaos. Everything in the universe, from atoms to galaxies, is governed by precise physical laws. Again, however, our experience of life is that no law ever came into being of its own accord. Laws are made by lawmakers, and the superb laws inherent in the cosmos must have been made by a superb lawmaker. In the words of Albert Einstein, the mathematical precision of the universe reveals the mathematical mind of God. The extraordinary complexity of the cosmos also points to intelligent and purposeful design. Even Darwin recognized this problem. He wrote, "To suppose that the eye, with all its inimitable ability for adjusting the focus for different distances, for adjusting for different amounts of light, and for correction of spherical and chromatic aberration, could have been formed by natural selection, seems, I freely confess, to be absurd in the highest degree possible." The astronomer Robert Jastrow echoed this same sentiment when he wrote, "The eye appears to have been designed. No designer of telescopes could have done better. It is hard to accept the evolution of the human eye as a product of chance. It is even harder to accept the evolution of the human intelligence as the product of random disruptions in the brain cells of our ancestors. It is complexity that gives rise to the astonishing variety of things in the cosmos, from the unique features of individual plants and animals to the ever-changing weather. Perhaps the clearest and simplest evidence for the existence of a Creator God is the marvelous design of organisms and their perfect fit into the environment. Living things interact in complex and surprising ways with one another and with their environment. Green plants, for example, feed the world, convert carbon dioxide into oxygen for animals to breathe, and recycle water from the ground back into the air where it can fall again as rain. But plants are not just functional, they also provide habitat for animals and are a great source of pleasure to many people. The numerous examples of symbiosis also provide evidence of purposeful design. For example, stinging ants that live in the hollow thorns of acacia trees keep leaf-eating insects off the tree and cut up and kill vines that try to climb on the tree. In return, the tree secretes a sugary fluid that the ants relish and produces small false fruit which the ants eat. While the survival value of such partnerships is obvious, their existence can only be explained by intelligent design. There is no possibility that the extraordinary complexity in design evident in the cosmos could have arisen by random chance processes. There is simply no basis in chance for producing anything constructive. The assumption that time plus matter plus chance could create anything useful is mythological. The evidence of design in nature is evidence of an intelligent and purposeful designer and creator. Nothing in our experience of life supports the concept that intelligent design can arise spontaneously from random chance processes. But the design we see in nature is not just functional, it is also imaginative, artistic, and highly aesthetic. It is clear that the cosmos was not only created by God, but that it was also created for our benefit. Information is an essential prerequisite for everything that exists in the universe, along with matter and energy. There are three types of information. Creative information is used to produce something. For example, the DNA molecule contains creative information used in the construction of a living cell. Operational information is required to maintain a system and keep it functioning properly. The many laws of nature that govern the cosmos are examples of operational information. Communicative information is the means by which living things exchange messages with one another using a particular set of symbols, that is, a language. Animals, for example, use an astonishing array of sounds and gestures to communicate with one another. Information, matter, and energy must have existed at the outset for the universe to exist at all. So who created these fundamental entities? Matter and energy cannot create themselves out of nothing, and information requires an intelligent prime source. The only reasonable answer is God, not an impersonal, amorphous life force, but a powerful, intelligent, and purposeful God. In the words of the psalmist, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech, night after night they reveal knowledge. They have no speech, they use no words, no sound is heard from them, yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world." Morality is an essential part of our human nature. Every day we make moral judgments. We desire and fight for what we believe is right, and condemn what we consider to be evil. Morality cannot be natural because animals don't have it. Only humans are moral, which is consistent with the Bible's description of man being made in the image of God. Being moral means having the ability to discern the difference between right and wrong, and ties in with the biblical concept of free will. Animals operate by natural instinct, a kind of programmed response, but we make conscious decisions. If there is no God, then there is no logical basis for an absolute morality. This position, however, is impossible to live with. It would require, for example, complete acceptance of Hitler's attempt to exterminate the Jews without passing any moral judgment on his behavior. But since absolute morality clearly does exist, then there must also be a moral God who is the source and the very standard of absolute morality. Jesus Christ made some remarkable claims about himself. He claimed to be the Son of God, God in human form, equal to God, and sinless like God. He also claimed to have authority to forgive sins, to grant eternal life, to be worthy of worship, and to be truth itself. These claims are unique among religious founders of the world. There is considerable evidence to support Christ's claim to be the Son of God, as discussed in another video in this series. It is not adequate to simply dismiss this evidence as religious fabrication. To do so is to prejudice the case. A sensible approach would be to examine the facts, weigh the evidence, ask some tough questions, then reach a reasonable conclusion in the light of the evidence. A number of famous skeptics have taken this approach and have been overwhelmed by the evidence. Rousseau wrote, "If the life and death of Socrates are those of a philosopher, the life and death of Jesus Christ are those of a God." The evidence for the existence of God is overwhelming. It is apparent in the very fact of our existence, and wonderfully demonstrated in the amazing design and artistry on display in the world around us. It is also evident in the very nature of man, our ability to distinguish between right and wrong, and our innate desire to prefer good over evil, supports the biblical view of man having been made in the image and likeness of God. When the work of Jesus Christ is added into the mix, it becomes clear that God's divine purpose for man is to offer salvation to everyone who cares to receive it. All that exists, both the good and the bad, appear to be directed towards this one end, the hope of eternal life for all who believe in Him.